One of the most important things when you're on a ketogenic diet is to really understand how to read a label and to read labels on a regular basis, because if you're not, there's all sorts of hidden carbs that can creep into this. So I wanted to give you some basics on what you should look at on a label, the most important things. So you'll see this little thing on the back called nutritional facts. There's two things at the top. It says serving size and servings per container or per unit. So let's say, for example, you're buying chocolate. Of course, the only chocolate you should be buying would be the keto friendly, but let's say, for example, it's just a chocolate bar. And let's say the serving size is one of those little cubes, right? Those little tiny cubes. And there's 12 of those cubes in a whole bar. So this entire label, as far as the carbohydrates and the sugars and the proteins and the fats, are based on the serving size, not the servings for the entire container or the entire chocolate bar. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you're eating more than one serving size, which most people do, let's say you ate the whole chocolate bar, you have to multiply 12 times the number of sugars to really see how much sugar, or multiply it by the carbohydrates to see how much carbohydrate you're getting, and you're going to find out it's a massive amount, okay? So just pay attention to that. All right, so then you have the total carbs, which is very important, and then you have the fiber. You minus the fiber and you get the net carbs, okay? So why? Because even though fiber is a carbohydrate, it doesn't increase insulin. It doesn't get digested by you. It gets digested by your microbes in your gut, but it doesn't spike insulin. And then you get to sugars, right? We want to keep those as low as possible. So when I read a label, I'm focusing on carbs, fiber, and sugar. Now the next point is very important. When you do keto, you should have a net carb of between 20 and 50 grams of carbs. You shouldn't have more than 50 grams, right? But what's also very, very important is the type of carbs, the quality of carbohydrate. Because if you're getting your carbohydrates from pure sugar or high fructose corn syrup, or something that's high in the glycemic index, then that is going to make it a lot less keto friendly. And so we have the limit of carbs, and then we have the type of carbs. We want low glycemic carbohydrates. When you're doing dirty keto, for example, you're not really looking at the ingredients. So I don't recommend doing dirty keto. So even know that like a substance called maltodextrin might be in the ingredients, and they might say it's keto friendly because they're saying it's just small amounts. Yeah, but on a glycemic index, it's higher than glucose. It's like one of the highest glycemic substances, I wouldn't call it a food, ever. Okay, so it's very, very high. So it's going to create more problems with your blood sugar. Then we have other ones like dextrose, which is a synthetic sugar, which you want to avoid. And then we have other things that are, I consider, not very high on the quality list of healthy. Corn fiber, okay? Is it GMO? Does it have residues of glyphosate? How is it processed? Not excited about corn fiber. Tapioca, not excited about that one. And then some products, even keto-friendly breads, have wheat in there. Now, why would you put wheat in there? That's not keto-friendly. Or they might have gluten, which is the protein in the wheat, which a lot of people have allergies to and sensitivities to, or they're intolerant, as in gluten intolerance, okay? So it's a little bit different than an allergy, but they can rip up their stomach. So you don't want to use wheat or gluten in any products that you consume. And even some keto products have sugar in them, which is kind of crazy. So when it says keto friendly, read the ingredients, and you'll find that a lot of times it's not really keto friendly. It may fit within the certain carbohydrate amounts, but they're not the type of carbohydrates that you want to be putting in your body. Now, moving right along, when you get to the ingredients at the bottom part, usually the first ingredient is the majority of the product. And this is interesting when you buy multivitamins. If it has calcium carbonate as the first ingredient, then you know the majority of that product is calcium carbonate. and that's limestone, and it's like a rock. First of all, it's not very well digested in your body. You don't really absorb it too well. And they're basically selling you a bunch of vitamins as a paperweight because it's just basically a rock with some other synthetic vitamins and minerals, and they're making a tremendous profit, yet the quality is terrible. And so a lot of other products, their first ingredient is soy. And so then you know the other ingredients in addition to that soy are just small amounts. And I'm talking about salad dressings and mayonnaise. I mean, they're basically just soy oil products. Now, sometimes they'll say it's organic soy, but it's still soy. It's estrogenic. So I recommend you don't consume any soy. Sometimes they'll say your salad dressing is made with olive oil, right? And then you look at the back label and it says it has soy with the olive oil. So you want salad dressing just with olive oil without any soy. Another little thing they'll do is instead of putting MSG or monosodium glutamate, they'll put modified food starch. Okay, modified food starch is MSG. And then the other thing they might put is they might put a certain oil. They may even say olive oil and then in parentheses, or soy, canola, coconut, safflower, or cottonseed oil. So now they have an option to use whatever oil that they want. And so you probably could have guessed that they're going to use the cheapest one they can find. So just be aware of that. So I always read labels, and it's amazing how people are surprised after they buy the product and they're like, oh my gosh, now I got to shoot this out. So read labels always. Hey, before you go, real quick, I have a course entitled How to Bulletproof Your Immune System. It's a free course. I want you to take it. And here's why. Here's you. Here is your environment. Everyone is focused on this over here, avoiding your environment. But what about here? What about strengthening your immune system? That's what's missing. This course will show you how to bulletproof yourself. And so you can tolerate and resist your environment much better by strengthening your own immune system. I put a link down in the description right down below. Check it out and get signed up today.